All right, everybody. Good morning. I know I'm just a little bit late with this, but certainly better late than never. The Seattle Seahawks decided to spring a little surprise on us this morning. I wasn't really expecting much of anything big to happen in the days leading up to the first game. I thought we'd just be sitting on these injury reports hoping to get good news, but the Seahawks had different plans. And I mean, you guys have probably already heard about it if you've been paying attention to football news at all this morning. But for those of you who maybe haven't, the Seattle Seahawks have extended one of their key players. And it's definitely going to be one of those gambles that a team takes where they see an opportunity to get a player at a depressed cost because of circumstance. And they know that there's a reason why the cost is a little bit depressed, but they're willing to rock with that risk because the reward is very juicy. And I'll tell you right now, before we even get into what the decision was, I'm pretty into this. I think this is a good gamble to take. So, per Mike Garofalo and now many other sources, the Seattle Seahawks and offensive tackle, right tackle to be specific, Abe Lucas, have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $46 million extension with the chance to earn more via incentives. Don't know what those incentives are yet. Not too worried about it at this point. The headline here is that Abe Lucas has been extended on a 3-year extension, which tacks on to the year he had left. So that means Abe Lucas is now on a 4-year deal effectively. He may not see a lot of the money on the back end, of course. We all know how NFL contracts work. But regardless, Abe Lucas is looking to be a Seahawk for quite some time. Please like this video, subscribe if you're new, click the bell for notifications, become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to support the channel. I have spent some time talking this offseason about how the Seahawks needed to make some kind of a long-term investment in their 2022 draft class that was so great. They had this incredible draft class in 2022. They got 6 quality players. And after 3 seasons, it was time to consider extending some of them. And this is the first one. So I was definitely a big proponent for getting out in front of the monster contracts that could be coming and trying to find a way to make something work with these really good young players that could be part of this team for the next decade. And this is actually a really good one to do. Now, there is risk involved. I'm, of course, aware of that. Abe Lucas has missed a lot of games in his NFL career so far. He has, I believe, missed about as many games as he's played in over his 3-year career, because he only played in 3 games in 2023 and then 7 games in 2024. And he had almost a full season in 2022. So it hasn't been a smooth get off for him. But when he has played, he has generally been very good at a very important position. Right tackle has become a very important position in the NFL. And given the fact that we know he has not physically been 100%, really since his rookie season, the way he's played has been pretty darn commendable. And clearly, if the team is doing this, and this had already been reported months ago, but there is confidence with the Seahawks medical staff that he is past the major issues that have kept him off the field so far, and they feel confident that he's going to be long-term somebody that you can lean on for, at the very least, most of the season every year. There are plenty of players out there that miss the occasional game. Maybe Abe Lucas will become one of those guys, but there is reason to believe on the part of this organization that the worst of his knee issues are behind him and it's not chronic. Before I go any further, I want to tell you about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using the Sleeper app, you are missing out. Take a look at all the great things you can do over there. Let's get to my picks for the week, my entry. I've got Dak Prescott as my free pick. He goes over 1 yard, then I'm good there. So we got Dak Prescott, at least 1 passing yard tonight. Jalen Hurts, 175 or more. I think that's going to be a shootout tonight. Dallas just traded their best pass rusher, and they acquired a run stopper for him. So I think there's going to be a lot of passing tonight. So give me the over. I have the under on Mahomes passing yards. I think that Chargers defense is going to make a big statement on primetime. And then Omarion Hampton, I have not getting into the end zone with a rushing touchdown in his first ever NFL game. So go make your picks over on Sleeper. Use promo code SBN to get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. So 3 years, $46 million. That's just over $15 million a year. And that's an important number to keep in mind when you're considering this contract, because that is a pretty significant amount of money, and it would certainly hurt if a player that you're paying that kind of money is not reliably there for you every week. But consider the alternative. And I say the alternative because there was a significant amount of movement in the right tackle market this offseason. The top of the right tackle market wasn't quite set, but it was pretty firmly established with some of these good players at the position that they're starting to get over $20 million a year. Several months ago, we had Zach Tom of the Packers, former 4th round pick of the same draft class that Abe Lucas was in. He got extended earlier this offseason, 4 years, $88 million. So that's $22 million a year. So pretty firmly above that $20 million a year mark. And Zach Tom is a very good player. He has a lot of flexibility that he brings to the table as someone who can play multiple positions. And he's been a good right tackle, but he's not some hyper all-pro. He's not Lane Johnson out there. He's not some future likely Hall of Fame type prospect. So that's 22. And then a few days ago, we got Luke Godecki of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He got his rookie extension. He was also part, by the way, of that Abe Lucas draft class in 2022. 2nd round pick here. But he got 4 years, $90 million. So that's $22.5 million per year. We don't know exactly how that contract breaks out yet. But the point is, that is kind of establishing what a good right tackle costs in the NFL. And Luke Godecki is, again, a very good right tackle, but I wouldn't put him among the top 3 or 4 in the league, I don't think. He's very good. Maybe he's even great. I don't think he's elite, and he's getting paid like this. And the main difference between him and Abe Lucas is just that he's been healthy and consistently playing, and Abe Lucas is not. We ended up getting Abe Lucas for very similar money to Caleb McGarry. Caleb McGarry of the Atlanta Falcons. He's been in the league much longer than Abe Lucas. He's a much older player. He's on the wrong side of 30 now. Former 1st round pick, but at this point that doesn't really matter. All that matters at this point is your level of play. He got a 2-year, $30 million extension, and that comes out to about the same average annual value as Lucas, $15 million. And he's maybe a slightly more reliable player, but not really. I mean, he's had injury problems of his own in his career. He's now older, and he has mostly downside at this point. So to get a guy with the upside of Abe Lucas for about the same average annual value is, I think, a pretty significant win. And I am definitely on board with taking a gamble like this one, I think. These are the kind of gambles that I like, where there's an opportunity to save a lot of money and you're betting on something that clearly a lot of thought went into. Clearly, there was an understanding that, hey, this guy has missed a ton of football over the last 2 years. This guy has missed about as much football as he's played in over the last 3 years. Let's make sure medically he looks good before we do this. Clearly, the team has signed off on that, and they're saving, again, and this might seem like hyperbole. It's really not. If Abe Lucas had gone out there and had a really good season this year, if he had played at a Pro Bowl level for 15 or more games, he would have gotten Luke Godecki money. He would have gotten the $22.5 million a year, I think, because that's the way the NFL salary cap works. You're judged based off your best work, and you're judged based off your most recent work, and the cap goes up significantly every single season. So you're saving pretty big money here on an Abe Lucas extension. Maybe not quite as much as I was initially thinking, but I was also initially thinking it might just be a 2-year extension, not 3 years. And the 3-year extension gives you a little more flexibility to push money around, which might be worth more than holding back the extra year. In fact, I might prefer it better even in a vacuum. But that is Abe Lucas, 3-year, $46 million extension. Let me know what you guys think, man. I like it. I am into it. I think that taking risks like this is something the team should be a little more open to right now. They have 5 other really good players that are eligible for an extension from the 2022 class. I would consider extending at least one of them before the season starts still. Nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be clean. If any of these players that we had that we could extend had been perfect players, they would cost a lot more than they're going to. And they are going to cost a lot less now than they will down the line. So think about it. But this is a good start. And this is the kind of gamble that I'm into. Like I said, I know it's a gamble. I know somebody's going to comment down below that he's a big injury risk. And for the moment, that's the case. But that's why you got the discount. I think it's worth the squeeze. All right. See you guys later. Streaming with the Hawks Nest in a little more than an hour. See you guys there. Go Hawks. And I say good news. What do you guys say?